Skol Nation, we know that this 2025 season is being an endurance test, and being dominated by the Packers like this hurts too much. But instead of just lamenting, I dove into the tape to understand the root of this collapse. While the majority is focused on blaming J.J. McCarthy or Myles Price in isolation, the technical analysis shows that the problem was much deeper. They were systemic errors that left our players hung out to dry. Today, we will dissect the three capital errors, the muffed punt by Myles Price and the 2 interceptions by McCarthy, showing details that the broadcast did not catch, the bait that deceived our QB, the protection that failed, and the panic on the return. The responsibility is shared, but the structure failed them. Let's see this now. We are in the fourth quarter with the clock reading 7:36 and the scoreboard showing a massacre of 23-6 for Green Bay. A desperate situation where the offense needs to operate in 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line. The focus here is on the tactical bait. See how linebacker Isaiah McDuffie, number 58, is positioned in the defensive box right behind the line of scrimmage, looking like he is going to attack the gap in a blitz. But as soon as the ball is snapped, the trap closes and he drops back approximately 5 yards to cover the intermediate zone near the 40-yard line. Possibly McCarthy did not see this drop because he was worried about the nightmare coming from the left, where Rashawn Gary, number 52, beats Justin Schooley, number 67, and hits McCarthy's arm mid-throw, demolishing the protection and collapsing the pocket. This forces the fatal fundamental error. The contact causes the ball to come out chaotically, and, with no space to step up, McCarthy is forced to throw off his back foot. This takes the velocity off the pass and makes the ball float, giving time for the defender who was in front of Aaron Jones, number 33, to react and secure the interception. Verdict: the offensive line gave up the edge, preventing the correct mechanics, and the defense fooled the rookie, showing pressure and dropping into zone. A triple failure of protection, reading, and fundamentals induced by chaos. That interception was an error forced by fear, but you do not win in the NFL without protecting your principal investment. What we will see next is the consequence of leaving a quarterback exposed to suffer sacks almost the entire game, where the collapse stops being only tactical and starts being a total mechanical breakdown caused by the instinct of survival on the field. We reach the critical mark of 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining with the score 23-6, forcing the offense to play in desperation. McCarthy lines up in shotgun with Aaron Jones, number 33, to his right, and here we see the tactical detail and the design error. On the snap, Jones immediately runs a route, free release, instead of staying to help block. This leaves McCarthy with only 5 men on the line. And see the fatal detail in the quarterback's base. The feet are frantic, happy feet. And he drifts unnecessarily, drifting, escaping pressure that had not yet arrived. His internal clock is sped up by the hits from the 5 sacks suffered previously, and this causes him to throw the ball with his body leaning backward, fading away, without transferring his body weight into the pass. The result of this broken mechanic is a ball without velocity that floats in the middle of the field, allowing safety Evan Williams to read McCarthy's static eyes and jump the route for the interception. And the humiliation is sealed with the Packers' defense mocking by doing the skull chant after securing the second turnover of the game. Verdict: an error born not from a lack of talent, but from a lack of extra protection and the mechanical deterioration of a quarterback under siege. While McCarthy's mechanics collapsed in the end, the soul of the team had already been broken much earlier. To understand the true root of this elastic score, we need to go back to the third quarter, where a grotesque failure of discipline on the Vikings' special teams turned a balanced game into a desperate pursuit. We are in the third quarter with the score tight at 10-6. Daniel Whelan connects on a 45-yard punt that travels to the Vikings' 10-yard line. But the crime occurs in the coverage lane. Gunner Zane Anderson, number 39, flies down the sideline, completely disrupting the return unit. Vikings safety Jay Ward, number 24, attempts to block him at the last second, but fails to engage, allowing Anderson to run free right into the returner's face. This creates immediate panic in Myles Price, number 4. Without his safety bubble, Price takes his eyes off the ball, peeking to track the incoming threat of Anderson. The frontal replay is brutal. The ball explodes off his helmet and chest, generating the turnover. Verdict: the blown block by Ward generated the fear, and the punishment was instantaneous. The Packers recovered and scored the touchdown on the very next play, making it 17-6 and imploding the game plan. This play was the catalyst. When you add a disaster on special teams with an offensive line that cannot sustain the pocket, you force McCarthy to try to be a hero, and that is the exact recipe for the tragedy we just witnessed with 2 interceptions. The 2025 season has been an endurance test, culminating in a dominant loss to the Packers with a final score of 23-6. The root cause of the defeat was not isolated talent failure, but systemic errors that broke the team's structure. The soul of the team was truly broken early in the third quarter when a grotesque failure of discipline on special teams occurred. The muffed punt on the 10-yard line allowed the Packers to score an instant touchdown, shifting the score to 17-6 and fundamentally imploding the game plan. This failure of protection and resulting turnover was the primary error of discipline and the catalyst for the entire collapse. This disaster on special teams, combined with the offensive line's inability to sustain the pocket, forced J.J. McCarthy to attempt to be a hero, which resulted in 2 tragic interceptions. The first interception, Drive 1, was a failure induced by fear and chaos, involving a tactical bait from linebacker Isaiah McDuffie, who showed blitz then dropped into zone, compounded by Rashawn Gary demolishing the protection. With the pocket collapsing and his base failing, McCarthy was forced into a back foot throw, resulting in a ball without velocity, a consequence of a triple failure of protection, reading, and fundamentals. This continuous exposure caused the quarterback's mechanics to collapse completely in the final minutes. By the second interception, Drive 2, McCarthy's internal clock was clearly sped up by the hits from the 5 sacks suffered previously. The lack of extra protection left him with happy feet, causing him to drift unnecessarily. He launched the ball, fading away, without transferring his body weight, producing another slow ball that safety Evan Williams easily jumped, securing the second turnover. This was a clear mechanical failure due to exhaustion and the instinct of survival on the field. Ultimately, these 3 plays, the pressure trap, the mechanical failure by exhaustion, and the primary error of discipline, summarize the Vikings' total collapse. The tape proves that McCarthy is trying to survive in a broken system that is not protecting its principal investment. The Vikings do not just need better plays, they need to protect their players before the season is lost. Comment below if you agree that the fault lies with the coaching staff. Ultimately, these 3 plays, the pressure trap, the mechanical failure by exhaustion, and the primary error of discipline, summarize the Vikings' total collapse. The tape proves that McCarthy is trying to survive in a broken system that is not protecting its principal investment. The Vikings do not just need better plays, they need to protect their players before the season is lost. Comment below if you agree that the fault lies with the coaching staff, and subscribe for the next analysis. Thank you for watching and see you soon. The failure began structurally, where the offensive line gave up the edge, preventing McCarthy from executing correct mechanics. This protection failure was compounded by the defense's tactical deception, as linebacker Isaiah McDuffie presented pressure, then dropped back near the 40-yard line. Rashawn Gary capitalized by demolishing the protection and collapsing the pocket, accelerating the rookie's internal clock. The result was a forced error, the back foot throw, demonstrating a triple failure of protection, reading, and fundamentals induced by chaos. The consequence of leaving the quarterback exposed to suffering 5 sacks previously was a total mechanical breakdown caused by the instinct of survival on the field. This fear was visible in the fatal detail of his base during the second interception, Drive 2, where his feet were frantic, happy feet, and he drifted unnecessarily from pressure that had not arrived. Forced to throw with his body leaning backward, fading away, and without transferring his weight into the pass, the resultant slow ball was easily intercepted by safety Evan Williams. This error was born not from a lack of talent, but from the mechanical deterioration of a quarterback under siege. Before the mechanical failure of the quarterback, the soul of the team was broken much earlier in the third quarter. The true root of the elastic score was the grotesque failure of discipline on special teams during the muffed punt, Drive 3. Gunner Evan Williams easily beat the block, generating immediate panic in Miles Price, who took his eyes off the ball, peeking to seek the defender. The resulting turnover, where the ball exploded off his helmet, was instant punishment. The Packers recovered and scored the touchdown immediately, imploding the game plan and setting the stage for the desperate pursuits that followed. Comment below if you agree that the fault lies with the coaching staff, and subscribe for the next analysis. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.